Imagine a world where celebrity status isn't parked in a garage full of Ferraris. It's rumbling across private estates on steel tracks that once rolled through battlefields, where a single restored Panzer sells for more than a Malibu mansion, and grown men spend fortunes chasing machines designed for one purpose: destruction. These aren't just vehicles. They're rolling pieces of history, trophies of war, and perhaps the most extreme flex in celebrity collecting. Stay until the end, because the #1 spot isn't just one tank. It's an entire armored division worth over $100 million. So let's start with number 10 on our list. Jamie Foxx and Chris Brown share something in common besides hit songs. They both own the Rezvani Tank X, a military-grade vehicle that starts around $295,000 before customization. Under the hood sits a supercharged 6.4-liter V8, producing roughly 500 horsepower. It comes equipped with armored paint, bulletproof glass, night vision capabilities, and even a smokescreen system for those dramatic exits. Now, calling this a tank might be generous. It's technically an armored SUV built on a Jeep Wrangler platform. But when you're rolling down Sunset Boulevard in something designed to survive urban warfare, semantics feel a bit pointless. However, if you think this is excessive, wait until we get to someone who crushes limousines with their military hardware for fun. Number 9 brings us to boxer Javanta Davis, who goes by the nickname Tank for obvious reasons. His vehicle of choice matches that persona perfectly. The USSV Rhino GX in desert camouflage set him back around $330,000 and features his initials branded right on the front grille. Power comes from a 6.8-liter V10 engine, producing approximately 400 horsepower. It seats 7 passengers, handles both on-road and off-road terrain, and yes, it's fully bulletproof. When your nickname is Tank and you've got an undefeated boxing record, you might as well commit to the theme. But number 8 takes us from modern military-grade SUVs into actual vintage armor. Rick Ross rolled up to his own car and bike show in something nobody expected. A fully customized Louis Vuitton tank, complete with leather seats, branded steering wheel cover, and a custom audio system. The exact price remains unknown, but when you're wrapping military hardware in luxury fashion house materials, you're clearly not worried about the bill. The thing about Ross is he has never been subtle. A camouflaged tank covered in LV monograms parked next to supercars says everything you need to know about his approach to collecting. Number 7 introduces someone who didn't just rent a tank for Instagram content. Dan Bilzerian has been photographed driving tanks through Las Vegas, crushing BMW 7 Series sedans under their tracks while surrounded by his signature entourage. He reportedly owns an M35 cargo military truck among his collection of exotic vehicles that includes a Mercedes G63 6x6. The poker player turned social media personality treats military hardware like most people treat golf carts, just another toy for the weekend. Whether he technically owns the tanks he drives or simply has unlimited access to them remains somewhat unclear, which honestly feels appropriate for his entire lifestyle. But everything we've discussed so far is essentially military-themed luxury vehicles. Number 6 is where we enter actual vintage armor territory. The late Paul Allen, Microsoft co-founder with a net worth exceeding $20 billion at his death in 2018, assembled a collection that military museums envied. His flying heritage and Combat Armor Museum in Washington housed approximately 71 operational military vehicles alongside vintage aircraft. This included M4 Sherman tanks from World War II, Soviet T-34 tanks considered among the most influential designs in military history, and German Panzer IV tanks that remain incredibly rare. Allen paid $2.5 million for a single Panzer IV in 2014 and then fought a legal battle to actually receive it after the sale. What made his collection special was that most pieces were restored to fully operational condition. These weren't static displays, they were running, driving, fighting machines brought back to life. Number 5 belongs to Jacqu Littlefield of Portola Valley, California, who built what many considered the world's largest private collection of armored vehicles. At its peak, the collection exceeded 230 military vehicles stored across his 475-acre ranch. This included Sherman tanks, Panther tanks, a Soviet SS-1 Escad missile launcher that was one of only 2 in private ownership, and enough half-tracks and artillery pieces to equip a small army. Littlefield started as an economics student at Stanford building radio-controlled model tanks. His father built the Hoover Dam and San Francisco Bay Bridge, which left the family with what you might call serious hobby money. When Littlefield died in 2009, his collection was auctioned off to collectors worldwide. A German 8-ton half-track personnel carrier sold for over $1.2 million. Sherman tanks went for $300,000 to $350,000 each. However, one collector showed up determined to buy everything he could. Number 4 is Kevin Wheatraft, a British businessman who owns what may be the largest private collection of military vehicles in the world. We're talking approximately 200 items, including 88 operational tanks. That's more tanks than the Danish and Belgian armies combined. His collection focuses heavily on rare German World War II vehicles, 4 Panther tanks, multiple Tiger tanks, both Type 1 and Type 2, or Panzer IIIs, Panzer IVs, Stug assault guns, and various components from dozens of other vehicles. He's even working on restoring the only surviving German E-boat. Wheatraft started collecting at age 5 when he asked his parents for a bullet-marked SS helmet for his birthday. By 15, he was buying World War II Jeeps with birthday money from his grandmother, restoring them, selling them at profit, and reinvesting into more vehicles and eventually tanks. The collection's estimated value exceeds $100 million. But here's the thing, it's not open to public viewing. This is purely a private obsession. Number 3 brings us to Dan Starks, the former CEO of St. Jude Medical, who bought his first Sherman tank just to drive it in the Dubois, Wyoming 4th of July parade. That single purchase turned into the largest private military vehicle collection in the United States. His National Museum of Military Vehicles now houses over 450 vehicles in a 140,000 square foot facility. He built it from the ground up, spending $100 million of his own money. The museum features tanks, jeeps, trucks, motorcycles, artillery pieces, and even aquatic landing craft from major American conflicts. What separates Starks from pure collectors is his mission. Every vehicle connects to stories of actual servicemen and women. There are walls and rooms dedicated to Americans of all backgrounds who served. His restoration shop employs mechanics and even plans to add an intern program. Sometimes collecting becomes preservation, and preservation becomes education. Number 2 is where Hollywood meets the battlefield personally. Arnold Schwarzenegger doesn't just own a tank. He owns the exact M47 pattern he crewed during his mandatory military service in the Austrian army in 1965. When Austria decommissioned the vehicle, they actually buried it. But when Schwarzenegger came calling years later as the Terminator himself, they dug it up, restored it, and shipped it to America for roughly $20,000 in transportation costs. The M47 pattern weighs approximately 46 tons and features a 90mm main gun. It was rushed into American production at the start of the Korean War in 1950 and served across NATO countries for decades. But Schwarzenegger doesn't just keep it in a warehouse. He uses it for charity work, bringing kids from after-school programs to drive tanks with him as rewards for staying in school. He's crushed taxis, pianos, birthday cakes, bubble wrap, and even a Mercedes-Benz on camera. Jay Leno once visited, and together they demolished a portable toilet with a lawyer inside. Just a joke, of course. Only interns were harmed. The man played a cyborg assassin in films, served as governor of California, and now uses military hardware to mentor disadvantaged children. The M47 somehow makes perfect sense for his biography. And now we move to number 1 on our list. Because everything we've discussed has been individual vehicles or focused collections. Kevin Wheatraft owns more than tanks. He owns what may be the world's largest collection of German Third Reich military memorabilia and vehicles, with estimated total value exceeding $100 million. But what makes this truly remarkable is the scope. This isn't just armored vehicles. This is 4 Panther tanks in various stages of restoration, multiple Tiger tanks from the feared German heavy tank programs, rare half-tracks that were deliberately designed to circumvent Treaty of Versailles restrictions on tank production, and the largest collection of Kettenkrats in the world. Those are the half-motorcycle, half-tank vehicles built to be dropped by parachute. He advised director David Ayer on the Brad Pitt film Fury, though he sat in the theater telling his daughter everything the movie got wrong. Good film though, he reportedly said. Wheatraft inherited his father's fortune after Tom Wheatraft died in 2009. The elder Wheatraft built racing circuits and construction companies. The son built a rolling museum of armored warfare. Some collectors want attention. Wheatraft wants accuracy. He travels the world tracking down parts, verifying authenticity, and restoring vehicles that most museums would display unfinished. His Panther tank restoration alone represents years of work and possibly millions in investment. The collection isn't open to the public because this isn't about showing off. This is about preserving machines that changed history, one rare component at a time. So if you made it all the way to number 1, you clearly appreciate more than just celebrity spending. You appreciate machines with history and horsepower. Tell me in the comments, would you choose a modern armored SUV or a vintage warbird with actual combat history? And if military collections like this fascinate you, hit subscribe, because next we're diving into the rarest private aircraft collections on the planet.